Welcome back to part 2. Now, I'm always absolutely fascinated by the amazing creations we've got on our inland waterways, and the Foxton Inclined Plane is one of these. Join me now as we go and find out more about this fantastic engineering feat. So here we are in Foxton, and thankfully Mike's agreed to meet with me so that I can learn about the wonderful lock setup they've got here. Hi Mike, thanks for joining us. Can you tell me a little bit about where we are firstly?
We're halfway down Foxton Locks,
Right.
which is the most famous flight of canal locks of its type in the country.
Right, okay.
There's 10 of them.
And they're stunning.
With a passing pond in the middle.
Wonderful, but quite narrow by the looks of it.
Yes, it's we'll take a traditional narrowboat and nothing else, and we
Okay.
have seen boats stuck.
I'm not
which is good fun.
surprised. Yes, I'm sure.
Because they've never had a major rebuild. They brought in Gordon Cale Thomas, the company's top engineer, and he looked at the problem and decided still isn't enough water to supply wide locks.
Right.
But we could build a boat lift, which he just happened to own the patent for.
Right, fancy that.
So they said, yes, sounds like a great idea. You can build one at Foxton, and if all goes well, you can build another one at Watford and replace all the locks between here and Leicester with boat lifts.
Wow, so he was quite pleased to hear that, I'm
yes,
sure.
Yes. But in 1909, they mothballed the lift to save money and said, we will reopen when things get better.
Right.
They've just about got better now.
Gosh. So crikey, it's all for 9 years, was it? 10 years, if
Yes,
that. Yeah. Can you take us through the design of the lift and what happened?
Yes, the lift is built over there. That's the, well, now the museum, but
Right.
originally that site was occupied by the boiler house. So you've got
Okay.
a pair of boilers in there.
Yeah.
And it's a substantial hill.
Yes.
But you can drive your boats into a tank at the bottom, sideways up the hill, drive out the other end,
Yeah.
no problem, easy.
Incredible. So it was quick, it didn't use too much water,
Yeah.
and it just made things easier for everybody.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it would take wide boats.
Key thing, yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Those wide beams got to have a go.
Yes.
Fantastic. So it's a shame now that it's not in process, but we can see a bit, can we, on the hill as to where it all
Yes,
used to be?
yes, just
Yeah.
wander around the back of the museum and we can have a look.
Fantastic. And I think you've got a special project inside the museum as well.
We've got a working model in there, yes.
Lovely. Let's go and have a look at that first, shall
yes.
we? Thank you. So Mike, here we are in the museum, and I know you've got this wonderful model to show me of how the plane used to work. Do take me through it.
Yes, this is a model that was made quite a few years ago.
Right.
Now operated far more than the real thing.
How funny. Okay.
And the customers, all they have to do is move this lever from one side to the other.
Okay, so that sets a motor going.
That set the motor going. Originally a 25 horsepower steam engine.
Oh, right.
So-
Lovely.
Which is not a lot of power really, because each one of these tanks full of water
Yeah.
weighs 230 tonnes.
Really? Okay.
Does
so
it?
it had quite a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, not that much because they balance each other.
I see. Okay.
And a boat replaces its own weight of water, so it doesn't matter whether you've got one boat on the tank or two, or whether they're loaded or empty.
Yeah.
Theoretically, the weight of the tanks is about the same.
I see. Fantastic. So you could have 2 narrow boats or 1 wide beam.
Yes,
Is that right?
that's
Okay.
right, yeah.
Lovely. And how long would it take them to go up or down?
This is one of the wonderful things about it. It takes 3/4 of an hour to get a pair of boats through the locks.
Through the staircase locks?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
12 minutes for 2 boats up and 2 down.
Oh,
on
really?
this.
Okay.
And that includes loading them onto the lift.
That's not bad going, is
Not
it?
bad
I think
going
I'd
at all.
probably cheat and do the same.
Yeah. And it doesn't use any extra water.
Because you're just taking it up and
Yes,
down.
the locks use 25,000 gallons per boat.
Yes. Yeah.
This uses a bit, but not very much.
So it would have been ideal in our current water shortage
Yes.
situation. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it's a fantastic model, and I think it would be lovely if this kind of thing came back in. And I know that we're about to go and speak to David to find out about future restoration plans.
Yes, very exciting, we hope.
It is.
All we
Let's
need
go
a
and,
bit of money.
a bit of money. Key thing. Let's go and speak to David then. David, thank you for joining us today. Perhaps we can start by learning exactly where we are and what we're looking at, please.
Right, well, we're standing on the observation platform which was built as part of the first part of the restoration.
Right.
If we look over there, you can see the inclined plane and the two bottom ponds which were excavated and reformed about 4 years ago.
Right.
And the two top ponds are over there, and they were connected, of course, when it was running by cables, and the boats came up and down in caissons, metal caissons.
Yeah.
And the two were counterbalanced, so you had one going up and one down. You could get two narrow boats or one wide boat into each of them.
Fantastic. So it worked for everybody.
It did, indeed.
So what we can see is what's left over of this wonderful sort of mechanism, really. Yeah. Can you take me through what's going on with the restoration and future plans?
Yes. Well, funnily enough, the situation now is very similar in one way to how it was in the late 1890s when they were building it.
Right.
Because they built it because there was so much traffic that was being held up.
Yes, yeah.
Nowadays, it isn't traffic with trade, but with private boats.
Absolutely. Traffic of a different nature.
That's
yes,
right.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, still being held up for as much as 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, really? It is
yes.
quite a long wait,
oh,
actually.
Yes, it can be in the summer peak periods.
Right.
Yes.
So that's what's instigated sort of the refurb, basically, of everything.
Well, that and the fact that it was such a wonderful invention,
Absolutely.
if that's the right word,
yes.
that we feel it is worth rebuilding it. And as I've said, it will fulfill a useful purpose because it'll speed the boats up and down. But it's the sort of exhibition piece that we like to encourage people to come to see on the canals. And
yeah.
It will be great fun to go up and down it in due course.
Absolutely, even my wide beams as well, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
You'll have to get other parts of the canal widened.
Yes, just for our trip.
Yes, quite.
Well, it looks so fascinating in the model and things. So what is there now? A group of you working towards it? What are the plans?
Right, well, the trust was formed about 20 years ago with its sole aim to see it restored to full working order. We don't want it to be a monument piece.
No.
We want it to be useful and as it was.
Absolutely.
Now, we've got the backing of English Heritage and like,
Great.
Provided we restore it as near to the original as possible.
That's understandable, yes.
But they do accept that we would drive it by electricity rather than steam.
Right.
And, of course, if it had continued to operate, that would have happened. It would have been converted long since.
Yes, you're absolutely right, yes.
But in addition, we have always said that if they can fill in a steam function as part of the thing, we would be very happy to have that. And funnily enough, although the total cost is likely to be of the order of 12 million,
right.
It will only cost another $250,000 to add a steam function.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
It is a definite possibility?
Oh, very much
yeah.
so, yeah.
It
And
would
we
be fantastic,
we
actually.
would support it, you know.
Well, I think it sounds like an absolutely fantastic plan, and we've seen a lot today about bringing tradition back and things like that, so I wish you the very best of luck,
Right.
and look forward to keeping an eye out on the news and things, and thank you so much for taking us through it.
This episode, our friends at Fringe Electronics are giving you a boost. We all know the pain of mooring in the perfect spot only to turn on the telly and find nothing but static. The Easy Boost is a signal amplifier for TV and radio signals, meaning you can get quality reception from the weakest of signals. And Fringe Electronics are giving us one of their high-end models, meaning you can then split the signal 4 ways. To enter, simply visit our website, uk-boating.tv. Entries must be received by midnight on the 3rd of June.
Well, that's all we've got time for in today's episode, but I hope you've enjoyed the varied features as much as I have. From a family-owned marina to a brand new boat to traditional old working boats and the fantastic Foxton inclined plane. If you'd like to catch up on any of our previous episodes, have a look online and keep in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter. Looking forward to seeing you again next time.